Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Our Good morning, good morning. Our Good morning, good morning. Okay, let me fix the good morning, good morning. Okay, let me fix the good morning, good morning. Okay, let me fix. Okay, let me fix the good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, let me fix. 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 Okay, okay, let me fix. Okay, let me fix. Hello? 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 Okay, we are here today to talk about some very important topic. We are we are expecting Bishop. We are here today to talk about some very important topic. We are we are expecting Bishop. We are here today to talk about some very important topic. We are we are expecting Bishop. We are here today to talk about some very important topic. Yeah, yeah, expecting Bishop. Yeah. Okay, I think we fixed the problem. Okay, now, happy Black History Month to you all. You know, this is an amazing time of reflection. C'est un temps de réflexion, un temps de se pencher sur ce qu'on peut voir Dieu en train de faire. Donc, c'est un très important, très, très important pour la célébration, surtout pour nous les Africains. We African, we need to take this opportunity to affirm our brothers and sisters, African American, during this time. This is not a time to open, all wound. C'est un temps de réflexion, c'est un temps de voir la main de l'Éternel en train de travailler dans la vie de nos frères et sœurs. Donc, nous attendons Bishop Zinchem va nous joindre plus tard. Il va nous joindre plus tard, et dans quelques minutes. Je dis plus tard, mais dans quelques minutes, nous allons continuer à discuter autour de ce problème. We are going to discuss a little bit around, what's blessing or what do you think we are thinking God want to do or God is doing, uh, you know, our focus is Africa. We know Africa is full of potential. We see 60% of the continent, the sub-Saharan Africa, is under 25, or some people say 26 years old, which means we have a generation, generation that is young, and we know youth is, having a youth in your population is a great thing, because we know many continents are suffering to even, it's getting old. But Africa, despite the poverty, despite the conflict, every day we still have a good population of young people. Donc en Afrique, nous avons une population très jeune. Selon les recherches, 50 à 60% de la population est toujours en dessous de 24 ans, certains ont dit 26 ans. Donc, on a toujours le pouvoir, les choses que l'homme ne peut pas créer, même avec l'intelligence artificielle, on ne peut même pas créer ça, mais c'est Dieu qui a créé, et Dieu qui a donné la capacité à l'Afrique. Et bien sûr, on continue de vivre dans nos problèmes, mais Dieu a un plan. Non, et dans ce mois, notre discussion va se porter un peu sur euh, comment est-ce que ce plan, est-ce que Dieu a un plan pour utiliser les Africains américains? Nous savons que l'Afrique n'a pas été déportée seulement dans les Amériques. L'Afrique a été déportée aussi en Asie, en Europe et ici. Mais est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose que Dieu veut faire au travers de tout ça là? Donc, nous allons approfondir cette discussion quand Bishop Zinchem sera là. We will talk more about this situation. Now, we see, uh, seeing some of these record, we see that transatlantic slave trade le trafic ou bien la traite transatlantique qui a eu lieu entre le 6e et 9e siècle. We see transatlantic slavery that happened transatlantic, especially to the Americas, happened between the 16th and the 19th century. You know, quand on voit ça, on voit c'est you know, 1500 à 18 600. We see that in the 1500 to the 1860s. And approximately uh, 12 million, 12.5 million, you know, il y a 12 millions 500 Africains qui ont été déportés par force. Et la plupart ont été dérobés, ont été volés. Bon, il y a aussi des records qui disent qu'il y a certains royaumes aussi qui étaient dans la traite négrière et qui trafiquaient les gens. Et il y a aussi des assaillants qui sont venus pour dérober, pour détruire les villages. Euh, ou détruire les villages avec la complicité de d'autres tribus que pour leur propre suivi, ils ont permis cela. Donc, aujourd'hui, nous voyons une société à l'autre côté du rive qui est, you know, qui est rempli de vie, qui est rempli de capacités, qui est rempli de désirs pour l'Afrique. Nous avons vu que dans ces dernières décennies, nous voyons beaucoup d'Africains américains, surtout les Africains américains. Il y a des Brésiliens aussi qui prennent de la nationalité africaine. Nous voyons ça en Angola, en Afrique du Sud, au Nigeria. La plupart, la grande partie, c'est le Ghana. Et nous voyons ça au Bénin maintenant. Il y a en Conakry aussi. Il y a le Togo, il y a le Rwanda, il y a des certains qui ont pris même, je pense, jusqu'en Égypte. Donc, il y a ce désir, il y a ce désir. Est-ce que le Seigneur a sa main dans tout ça là? Est-ce que le Seigneur a sa main? Dieu, notre Dieu, c'est un Dieu d'immigration. Our God is a God of immigration. And we see in this, few decades, we've seen, especially, African in diaspora, especially American, taking African nationalities, citizenship. We see a lot more in Ghana. We've seen Benin. We've seen Guinea, we've seen Senegal, we've seen even up to Egypt, Angola, South Africa. We've seen it, uh, Togo, we've seen Nigeria, we've seen everywhere. It's God's hand in this thing. Now, let me just introduce Hope Commission International. I'm Dr. Komi Aholou. I'm a director of Hope Commission International. And director of Hope Commission International, and we are, we focus more in bringing hope to the nations. And our focus right now is building a bridge between the Americas and and Africa. And Africa, we focus a lot in West Africa, and we're working a lot with African American, and our desire to see the bridge built. Now, we do take teams from here, Atlanta, from the US, but from Atlanta to West Africa, to West Africa every year. And next year, guess what? Next year, we're going to take people actually who are not going for mission trip, but we just want to discover West Africa next year. So if you are interested, write us, inbox us, and we will keep you updated how things are going to go next year, because we want to, those who have a bucket list to discover West Africa, who don't want to go for witchcraft situation, but who want to go to discover Africa. We're going to start those next year, so that will be great. So l'année prochaine, nous allons commencer à faire des tournées en Afrique de l'Ouest, surtout en Afrique de l'Ouest. Ceux qui veulent découvrir l'Afrique de l'Ouest, nous allons commencer à organiser des tours organiser des tournées en Afrique de l'Ouest. Donc, nous allons donner l'opportunité pour ceux qui veulent comprendre, ceux qui veulent ceux qui veulent comprendre un peu comment nous allons commencer comment à amener les Africains, et surtout à découvrir l'Afrique et comment nous allons nous bénir les uns et les autres. Donc, notre devoir ici, c'est de créer un avenir pour pouvoir aider nos populations, surtout les Africains, Américains, à se retrouver dans leur identité parce que, OK, donc nous avons aussi Bishop Zinchem qui est là. Donc, il va nous entretenir beaucoup aussi parce que c'est un homme qui est sage, un homme qui a fait beaucoup de documentation, un homme qui a traversé surtout l'Afrique. Euh, il a traversé beaucoup l'Afrique et il est vraiment bien versé dans nos situations culturelles tant qu'académiques. Et il va nous entretenir et je vois qu'il est là. I see that Bishop Zenchem is here and he will help us a lot to understand some of the things we're talking about. What are some of the blessing that God is turning our bitterness, our situation? What can God do with that in our life today? Hello, Bishop Zenchem. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm
And
sorry for coming late.
it's not a problem. It's not a problem. So we are, we are YouTube live. I'm trying to see if I can put the link onto Facebook as well.
Yes. Can you post me the YouTube link
Yes, I'm going to do that now.
on the chat?
Yeah, let me see if I can send that to you so you can put it, how to do that. When you get it all, start forgetting things. Okay. 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 Share. Copy link. I'll give it to. Okay. I'll send it to you so you can. Okay. I'll send it to your
You send
test.
my text?
Yeah, send it to test.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You found it.
Let me check. Yes.
Amen. Now, this is our beginning to really create a platform that we will be able to find a way to connect.
Let me check. Yes.
Yeah, find a way to connect. We are not here to create, it creates crisis. What we're trying to do is to see what is God trying to do in our life today. That is our desire. So, this is just the beginning. We're going to have a more discussion, theological, la théologie de la race noire. Je ne sais pas si je peux dire comme ça. La théologie de la race noire. Yeah, la théologie de la race noire. Parce que nous avons besoin d'explorer ces choses pour pouvoir nous aider afin de savoir que Dieu a un plan pour nos vies. So, Bishop, I'll let you begin to talk now.
Well, I think it is a wonderful conversation that we getting into, especially when dealing with the issue of the forced migration of the African people into the Americas, but also the current fate
Mhm.
of the African on the continent.
Mhm.
But it's not only the fate
Mhm.
of the African on the continent, it's the fate of the African wherever we have been dispersed. So we have a different belief and a biblical approach to what has happened to Africa.
Mhm.
But I think we need to know as much as possible our situation,
Mhm.
but also know well the scripture, so we can interpret the scripture in line with our situation, so that we don't bring the Bible to say what the Bible is not saying, if you know what I mean. You know, so that's very important as a conversation. So, and this is a very wide topics. You will need to have my mind channel my thought, my minds,
Mhm.
so that we hit the the real the real issue that we need to hit
Mhm.
today.
Mhm.
Yes.
Man, I know we are not we don't have everybody in the Zoom. We are
Uh-huh.
on Facebook.
Yes.
So most of you will not be able to write us, but if you have a question, you can always write in a comment, and so in our next live, we will be able to
Mhm.
address some of those questions. Now, the
Yes.
question that I want Bishop to talk to us about a little bit, you know, we know that Black people were not only deported to the Americas, but why is the Black people in Americas become such a powerful force
Mm.
today?
Well, that's I think that is a very good, it's a
Mm,
very good question
mm,
that has created a lot of speculation.
mhm.
Why am I saying that? Because the same African people were taken to the Caribbean
Yeah.
basins.
Mhm.
All the Caribbean nations are filled with the African who many of them will share the same ethnicities
Yeah.
as the African American,
Mhm.
and many more into Latin America,
Mhm.
who will be sharing the same ethnicity
Yeah.
with African America.
Mhm.
So why the African American particularly has become so powerful,
Mhm.
uh, that's give to me, we can speculate, because
Yeah.
I don't want to give an answer which we will take the Bible and put into it, and we will get into that.
Yeah.
But here's what we say. I think the fact that the United States of
Mhm.
America, who is a colony, just
Yeah.
like Mexico, uh, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, and all these countries,
Mhm.
including the Caribbeans,
Yeah.
all that are colonies.
Mhm.
So, but the fact that in the Americas, from Canada all the way down to the tip of Argentina, all of them are colony. But the one colony that rose and became more powerful to the point of dominating the entire world is the United States of America. Therefore, that same spirit, or whatever, however we want to categorize that, will impact the inhabitants of the lands, even though they were enslaved. You know, the enslaved African in what we call the United States of America today, as well as the indigenous people will share somehow into this identity that the United States has become with the many opportunities that the country has to offer to the world, economically, socially, technologically, and in entertainment, in the industries, and all of that. So the United States dominates in many of these aspects. Therefore, the African who were here will rise also fighting to have access to these opportunities. Let's not forget that during the slavery time, the African were not considered human being. They were considered 3/5 of an animal. Yeah, so their humanity, they fought to impose their humanity. You see, and so that's why I am giving the answer that I am giving, today. But people, if I may say something, I don't want to give too long answer.
No problem.
Yes. People, many of people, my friends and colleagues have said that, well, the African American are the Joseph, who was sold by their brother into Egypt. And then he became prime minister, a powerful man in Egypt, and later on provided a deliverance to his family. Well, when you look at the situation, if you look at that situation from a material perspective, it might make sense. I see. Why am I saying that it might make sense? Because, like I said in the beginning, we had many African descendants who are in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean. Haiti, Jamaica, Barbados, St. Croix, Grenada, all places filled with African descendants who share the same ethnicity back home in Africa with the people in here. So they all must have the same consideration. Where if we want to put things in a right perspective, all of them should have the same consideration. Now, when you have traveled and visited many of the nations and communities of African descent, you realize the condition in which they have been reduced. That argument does not stand. Yes. Because how people who has been reduced in such low condition will rise to go and deliver the gigantic Africa. I mean, we are not talking about one family, like in the case of Joseph. We're talking about a gigantic continent. And even if we want to limit it to the Gulf of Guinea, where all the Africans into the diaspora who were forcibly taken into America came from, the Gulf of Guinea. But the Gulf of Guinea is a large territory,
Yeah.
very large territory.
Mm-hmm.
So, but can the African descendant play a role, bring a contribution to that region and to the whole continent of Africa? Yes, there is no doubt
Mm-hmm.
in my mind,
Yeah.
because all the African children
Mm-hmm.
have a critical role to play in the fate of
Yeah.
Africa.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long answer.
Well, I think I think it's always good to give uh, give the answer that's kind of self-explanatory.
Yes.
Now we see that 12.5 million African has been deported. So how has that affect actually the continent in many ways? And I'm saying this because uh, some people think this is the one that set the fate of the continent as a poor continent. But I'm saying today, you know, we still have a people on the continent, but
Yes.
is it just the Atlantic slave trade that determine how the continent is, or are there some mechanisms that are still playing today that African American probably can become an agent to help us overcome?
Well, you raised this different, very important points.
Yeah.
You raised in one question.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to the population.
Yeah.
The strength of a people, of a community or a family
Mm-hmm.
is his people.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
for us African in our culture, when I was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
the more a family have
Yeah.
many children,
Yeah.
the more honor,
The more honor.
respected, and
Yeah.
glorious they are.
Yeah.
So for us, going back to that, and this is what also the Bible reflects,
Mm-hmm.
say
Mm-hmm.
that the children of one
Yeah.
in one youth
Mm-hmm.
is a strength, and
Yeah.
blesses the man that have his quiver full of
Yes.
them.
Mm-hmm.
So the population
Mm-hmm.
is the first wealth of the community.
That's right.
The population, the people, the
Mm-hmm.
first wealth and resource of
Yeah.
the nation is
Mm-hmm.
his people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what Africa has been deprived
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
from. His
Mm-hmm.
most precious, glorious, and powerful resource
Mm.
was his men and women
Yeah.
that were captured
Yeah.
and taken. You said you used the term Atlantic slave trade.
Yes.
See, after serving in this aspect, dealing with it for many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
traveling to different countries, talking about reconciliation,
Mm-hmm.
growing up, learning the term
Yeah.
Atlantic slave trade,
Mm-hmm.
I adopted the term, I'm using it, but
Yeah.
years later,
Mm-hmm.
and I start thinking a little bit more independent. I said, no, that was not the slave trade. It was human trafficking,
Yeah.
because these were not slaves, the people
Mm-hmm.
that were captured in Africa. They were no slaves.
Yeah.
So when we say that it was Atlantic slave trade, that's mean they were slaves on a continent.
Yeah.
And so you have then the slave market, like it was
Mm-hmm.
said,
Yeah.
and then people will come negotiate the terms
And then take them
of
away.
purchase,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
agree on the
On the term.
price, and then
Yeah.
shake hands and
Mm-hmm.
go in a friendly way, because that's
Yeah.
how,
Mm.
when you do a trade, that's how it's happening. But it was not the case.
Yeah.
People were captured. We have
Mm-hmm.
warfare all over this a region called the Gulf of Guinea.
Mm-hmm.
And that warfare went from generation to generation for about 350 years. In
Wow.
some places, in other places, 400 years of
Mm-hmm.
capturing the people.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that caused a tremendous deep wound
Yes.
on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say when you were born, when I was born, chances were, if we were born in that time, chances
Yeah.
were that we will never grow old
Yeah.
in our homelands,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
we will be captured and taken.
Again,
But
take yeah.
if you are if you were strong, energetic, like
Mm-hmm.
you probably was when you were
Mm-hmm.
young, or me,
Yeah.
chances are we will be captured
Mm-hmm.
and then they sent away.
Yeah.
So it was really human trafficking.
Mm. Yeah. Human
And
trafficking.
so I talk about the wounds that
Mm-hmm.
the situation caused
Yeah.
and so forth, and the curse that
Mm-hmm.
it brought to the
Because of curse.
lands,
Yeah. Mm.
where
Mm-hmm.
it took place.
Yeah.
Now, mankind, although the African were diminished in the minds of the people and is still being diminished in the mind of some people
Mm-hmm.
today, but the African are
Yeah.
created in God's image and
Mm-hmm.
likeness,
Yes.
a fully human being,
Mm-hmm.
equal to everyone. So wherever you will diminish a human being to
Mm-hmm.
that level,
Yeah.
you bring a curse
That's right.
on the land.
Mm-hmm.
So the curse was happened on the continent, but the
Mm-hmm.
curse happened also on the lands
Yeah.
where they were enslaved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
those who were brought here were then enslaved. They
Mm-hmm.
were captured or trafficked
Yeah.
and brought here forcibly against their will. And
Mm-hmm.
then once here, they were enslaved.
Yeah.
You see, so we have to put things in a perspective.
Yeah.
Now, God, in His sovereignty and in His grace, came to the rescue
Mm-hmm.
of the unfortunate.
Yeah.
He came to the rescue of the unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
And they rose from these ashes,
Mm-hmm.
these terrible wounds,
Yeah.
and they are who they are today,
Mm.
excelling in a many aspect
Yeah.
of society
Mm.
and capable of bringing, giving a helping hand to
Mm-hmm.
those who are still struggling.
Yeah.
So yes, African American can play a huge, huge role
Mm-hmm.
into what is happening in Africa as sons and daughter of
Yeah.
the continent.
Okay. So that brings me to another question. We've seen also, that kind of draw my curiosity. Ça a un peu attiré ma curiosité. Nous voyons que c'est 12 500 000 selon ce qui a été compté.
Mhm.
Ah,
Statistic varies.
oui, ce qui a été compté par certains.
Uh-huh.
Parce que j'ai vu même que, par exemple, quand tu pars au Togo, il y a un endroit là-bas, à Boudrafo là-bas, la maison là-bas, la maison n'existait pas durant l'esclavagerie même.
Mhm.
C'est quand c'est aboli que les gens ont instauré cette
Mhm.
maison pour clandestinement voler,
Mhm.
ah, voler les gens. Et il y a toute une rituel spirituel qui se passait du nord jusqu'au sud
Mhm.
pour désactiver ces gens de l'Afrique. Et
Mhm.
puis, ils viennent là-bas et ils vendent les gens. Le bateau vient, se pose dans la mer et puis on traverse. Avant, c'était la brousse, non? Pas la brousse.
Mhm.
Ils partaient pour aller mettre les gens dans le bateau pour
Mhm.
amener. Et même quand, après after the abolition of slavery, here in Americas, there's still factories that was multiplying slave for other hundreds of years.
Yes, yes.
Now, can African play any role in bringing healing? Because we see African Americans, we are here in a month of
February.
February.
Yes.
You see
Black History
churches,
Month.
black churches, people dressed like African, even though those fabric are not African fabric. They dress African, they want to dance like African, and people are actually getting the citizenship in many countries in Africa. We see Rwanda, Ghana is the most, Benin, Angola, South Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon. They are going everywhere now, getting it. What role is Africa going to play in order to bring wholeness to its children? Because even if you are black and you are born, you have a white father, you're still black. So what role is Africa going to play to bring wholeness to these people in order to see in them become an agent of transformation for the continent?
Yes, I think one of the biggest loss
Yeah.
to the African people who were forcibly taken to the Americas
Yeah.
from the United States all the way to Argentina, one of the biggest loss was their identity.
Yeah.
As African people, as human being, African human being who belong to somewhere, because that's how God created each and every one of us. You see, He created us through, we come into existence through a family.
That's right.
That is in an ethnic somewhere,
Yeah.
position somewhere, you see. And so those who were forcibly taken lost that, and the children that came after had no connection. First of all, they were not considered even as human beings. Like, yes, the city of Richmond, Virginia, where we live and work for many years, was a big slave market, because during the slavery, all African women were enslaved, therefore were slaves. Therefore, every child born from an African woman will be automatically a slave. So they created the breeding. Richmond was then a breeding ground where they would put men there with the women just to breed children like you will have a cattle,
Wow.
which is a terrible idea, and a perversion of sexuality and a family, a distortion, destruction
Yeah.
of the family fabrics. And so the children born in this situation do not belong to the man who is the biological father.
Yeah.
And they do not belong to the woman either. They belong to the master, who
Wow.
can dispose them wherever he wants at his wish.
Our message is
And so that is a tremendous loss
yeah.
of identity, a
Yes.
tremendous loss of personhood, your humanhood. You lost it. And so, although on the continent, those who were born and raised in Africa, we suffer from a lot of trauma and also identity crisis, but we don't have that level of
That level.
understanding. We
Yeah.
don't have that level of wounds. So in that sense, in the experiences I had, every time I have gone with African descendant on Africa, it has been a tremendous impact
Yeah.
into their identity as people.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they never knew what they were missing until they realized that I didn't belong to anywhere. Now I belong to somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yes,
know,
yes,
so
yes.
this is not something that you and I
Mm-hmm.
suffer from.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know this closely, you will never realize that people suffer or carry such
Mm-hmm.
wounds in
Mm-hmm.
their life. And it's a tremendous wound for people to carry.
Mm-hmm.
So one important role
Mm-hmm.
Africa and the African people born and raised on the continent can play is to help and facilitate this connection so that those in the diaspora will feel belonging to
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. And the reality and the true reality and true are that their roots ancestry wise is in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
See, so this is not making up. It's not emotion, but this is
Mm-hmm.
how God established order for humanity to develop.
Mm. Well, let me see if I can remember what I was trying to say. Um, okay, this one of there's something profound that was shared with me, and okay, let me see if I can remember this thought. The thought is that, yes, why the reason African, and okay, I'm, I'm trying to, okay, now it's said that African who are born on a continent, they, they have been trained to still have their identity, their cultural identity, you know, their cultural identity.
Mhm.
But African people, people who have, um, let me find a way how to put it.
You mean those who were forcibly taken don't have the same education or understanding of their cultural identity?
Yes. Okay. Now I remember now. It said that African on the continent and in the Caribbean,
Mhm.
they have been trained to have cultural identity.
Mhm.
But like African, they enjoy their cultural identity. They have a good, their identity.
Mhm.
But those in America, in America, especially in African American, their identity, your creativity is developed,
Mhm.
but their identity, their cultural identity, who they are as a person,
Mhm.
is kind of they don't have it, they don't cultivate that in them, but they cultivate their intellectual identity, their
Mhm.
creativity identity.
Mhm.
They have that identity, they can create things, but they
Mhm.
don't have self-identity, cultural
Mhm.
identity.
Mhm.
Now, Africa, people are so proud of who they are, their cultures and
Mhm.
everything. But
Mhm.
guess what they don't have? They don't
Mhm.
have creative identity.
Yeah.
Even though they can dance and so proud, who am I? What tribe
Mhm.
am I from? Everything. But they got nothing to prove for it. But when you
Mhm.
see the African in diaspora, especially the former uh, the former oppressed people where African were oppressed too,
Mhm.
they have developed a lot of things.
Mhm.
They have developed a lot of things, engineers, so many things.
Mhm.
But one thing they don't have is identity. But
Mhm.
African, we have identity, but we have nothing creative idea. We have a goal, but we can't use. We got a goal, but yet
Mhm.
we are dying, hungry,
Yeah.
and and people actually we giving a goal to somebody, come
Mhm.
and give us a gun, we give them, you know.
Mhm.
So even though we are proud who am I? I'm a Bamileke, I'm an Ewe, everything. But guess what? We sit on the gold, the diamond, uranium, and dime.
Yes.
So
So,
African American, they have that creativity, but one thing they are suffering from is they don't have identity, but they have creativity.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting observation. My answer would be speculative.
Yeah.
When it comes to African American.
Yeah.
And so here's my observation. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So in the United States,
Yeah.
the African descendants uh, has been generally in a minority.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is very interesting because
Yeah.
in the beginning, in
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of European coming here and bringing the
Mm-hmm.
African were always majority in plantations.
Mm-hmm.
They were the majorities.
Yeah.
So, but because the treatment under which they were subject, they
Yeah.
never realized the strength
Mm-hmm.
of being minority. And
Yeah.
so, but what the country have done is to go and bring an influx of European migrants that
Mm-hmm.
were brought here in order to populate the
Yeah.
lands, and lands were given to them, and so forth. That is why the African descendant became minority here.
Yeah.
So when you minority, the dominant culture impact who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. The dominant culture impact who you are. You might be fighting for your identity, just like we had, people like James Brown and Malcolm X,
Mm-hmm.
championing the blackness of the
Mm-hmm.
people, say loud and black and proud, and all of that, you see, in order to bring that sense of pride
Mm-hmm.
into the culture
Yeah.
about the cultural identity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you take the Caribbean basin, for instance, the majority of the Caribbean islands are majority black.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
majority black.
They are the president,
Even
they are the ministers, they are everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they are dominating the culture
Yeah.
with what they have preserved
Mm-hmm.
as African cultures.
Yeah.
They preserved what was preserved
Mm-hmm.
and past slave era.
Mm-hmm.
So that is dominating the culture.
Yeah.
So it is different.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still when we still have to recognize that they were disconnected
Yeah.
from their
Yeah.
ancestral
That's
land.
right.
Now, for those who remain on a continent,
Yeah.
now these were very creative people
Mm-hmm.
who built mighty kingdoms,
Yes.
empire, like the empire of
Mm-hmm.
Songhai, the empire of Mali,
Yeah.
the empire of Ghana,
Yeah.
and plenty, the kingdom of Congo,
Mm-hmm.
plenty of mighty kingdom.
Yes.
Built cities like Tombuktu with large library, very orderly
Mm-hmm.
cities with government structures and so forth. So
Mm-hmm.
we really cannot say that the African on the continent were not creative and were not intelligent or
Mm-hmm.
smart. No. But what happened is this. After, for the continent,
Mm-hmm.
after slave abolition,
Mm-hmm.
or what was called the slave trade abolition, which I term it the human trafficking of African abolition. When that was abolished, The European met to come for the resources, natural resources this
That's
time.
right.
The Berlin Conference of
Mhm.
1884.
Yeah.
You see, so they came for natural resources. Now, when they came for natural resources, that would mean the colonization era. So the Germans, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the English came down. They came down with some aspect of their culture.
Mm-hmm.
They came with some aspect of their education.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what was enforced to the African people. So you are in a way land. You become German in your mind because the Ewe people were colonized by the German on one side and the English on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So you start becoming German in your mind. So you are dissolute, you are no, or you are your mind is taken captive
Mm-hmm.
because what you are learning called through the school system is have nothing to do with your identity as an Ewe person.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So you are, that's what I use the term, some aspect of their culture and some aspect of their education. So some of the things that your ancestor grew up. I mean, I live in Togo for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So and the Ewe people have the culture and the tradition of mining gold.
Mm-hmm.
They know the technique of
Yeah.
mining gold
Mm-hmm.
and mining iron to transform tools
Mm-hmm.
and making tools with iron. So they were technology.
Mm-hmm.
But when you taken captive in your mind, one generation, two generation, you lost what your ancestors were doing.
That's right.
You lost what your ancestors knew to do.
Mm-hmm.
See, our parents sent us to this school system thinking that it will make us better
Yeah.
people because they were deceived
Yeah.
in their mind. So can you imagine? I went to school in my village.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Yambasa person.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be beaten in school, in my own village, to learn a foreign language
Yep.
and to learn the science of that foreign language. They have to beat me.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't speak or I don't write well that language, I receive beating
Yeah.
in my own village
Yeah.
among my own people. So what was that do? What was it? It was taking out of me the person that was created.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mind will be filled with the French, but some French, but that French does not give me creativity as
Creativity.
far as my environment is
Yeah.
concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up with plenty of land,
Mm-hmm.
plenty of natural resources, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to use these resources because we become intellectual. We become intellectual.
We
So,
speak the language very well.
yeah, you speak the language and you take pride in speaking the language and writing more than the French.
Yeah.
How is that helping you in your development?
Mm-hmm.
But we think that we thought that was a civilization.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know we see few people are watching us live, probably on Facebook or on YouTube. This is just the beginning of discussion we're going to be having. The discussion is not to revive the story, the history, but it's to provoke our thought because, like we say in Negro scholarship, the mind is a terrible thing to lose. When we have no capacity to think, to reflect, we will never gonna get anywhere. It's not to cast the blame, it's to think about our own self because we are here for purpose. And what are we going to do to fulfill the purpose of God? God can turn the evil into good.
Yes.
God have done it. He have done it throughout history. God does not create evil, but God has always a plan because human has been created in his own image with all the capacity, and sometimes we use our abilities to do evil. But God will transform that in order to still bring forth his purpose. So before we close for today, it's 2 o'clock. Every month we're going to be doing a discussion, discussion. So being tuned. But before we close, we're probably going to take about 10 minutes for Bishop to explain what we just talked about a little bit in French for some of you who are following us in French. I know most of you can understand English, but few people who are following us in French need to have an idea what we're talking about. Mhm.
Oh, donc, pour donner un résumé à ce que nous venons de discuter sur ce sujet complexe, très, très large, c'est que pour commencer avec le dernier point, est-ce que
Mhm.
les Africains américains sont créatifs dans leur pensée,
Yeah.
mais ils souffrent d'une crise profonde identitaire comparée aux Africains qui sont fiers de leur identité culturelle, mais manquent de créativité pour
Mhm.
transformer leurs ressources
Mhm.
et ceux des Caraïbes. Alors, l'analyse que j'ai faite, qui peut aussi être spéculative,
Yeah.
c'est que ceux des descendants africains qui sont aux États-Unis se retrouvent une classe minoritaire.
Mhm.
Au temps de l'esclavage, ils n'étaient pas minoritaires, ils étaient majoritaires, mais
Mhm.
les, le gouvernement américain est allé en Europe de l'Ouest, en Europe du Nord, l'Europe de l'Est pour amener une grande population blanche
Mhm.
et leur donner des terres, ce qui a fait que les Noirs se retrouvent minoritaires. Donc, quand tu es une classe minoritaire dans une culture dominante, tu vas perdre beaucoup d'aspects de
Mhm.
ton identité culturelle.
Mhm.
Et ce qui est arrivé à ceux des Africains qui sont américains aujourd'hui. Dans les Caraïbes, la
Mhm.
plupart d'entre eux, les populations dans les Antilles, sont des descendants africains, dont des Noirs. Ceux qui sont dans le gouvernement, ceux qui font les affaires, les hommes et les femmes d'affaires sont les Noirs, presque partout où tu pars.
Mhm.
Même si tu vas avoir une petite classe minoritaire dans certaines îles des Caraïbes qui contrôlent l'économie, mais partout où tu pars, tu vas trouver les Noirs.
Mhm.
Donc, ils ont, pour le peu des éléments culturels qui ont été préservés durant l'esclavage, ces éléments vont perdurer dans
Mhm.
leur société et ils vont vivre ces éléments culturels
Mhm.
que ceux des États-Unis vont perdre parce qu'ils sont dans une classe dans une société où ils sont minoritaires. Bon, par rapport à l'Afrique, on ne peut pas dire vraiment que l'Africain né en Afrique n'est pas créatif, il n'est pas intellectuel parce que nous avons eu des grands royaumes, des vastes et puissants royaumes comme l'Empire du Mali, bien le royaume du Mali, le royaume de Ghana, Songhai et autres, le royaume de Congo, plein des royaumes très puissants avec des civilisations très, très avancées, des structures gouvernementales et sociales bien organisées et ordonnées, des villes bâties avec des bibliothèques comme Tombouctou. On ne peut pas dire qu'il n'y a pas d'éducation, bien de créativité. Mais ce qui s'est passé, c'est que après que la traite, ce qu'on a appelé la traite de l'esclavage, des esclaves, ce que j'appelle le trafic humain plutôt, quand ça a été aboli, les Européens sont venus, se sont réunis à Berlin en 1884 et sont revenus pour coloniser l'Afrique. Donc, il y avait les partis qui étaient devenus anglais, français, espagnols, portugais, allemands. Donc, avec la colonisation, on fait de toi, tu es au fond de l'Afrique, au sein de l'Afrique, mais on fait de toi dans ta tête un anglais en partie, parce qu'on ne
Yeah.
t'enseigne pas tout ce qui est de la culture anglaise. On ne te donne pas tout ce qui est de l'éducation anglaise. C'est juste des bribes
Mhm.
suffisantes pour t'aliéner de qui tu es.
Mhm.
Donc, tu te retrouves chez toi, mais dans ta tête, tu es français, tu es
Tu es
anglais.
français. Et tu
Comme
parlais
dans
français
mon
dans...
exemple,
Yeah.
je suis né dans mon village
Yeah.
où mes ancêtres ont vécu, grandi là-bas. On m'a amené à l'école là-bas. On me fouettait avec la chicotte pour mettre le français en moi, pour
Ah,
m'enseigner la
On,
science.
on me frappe, humilie parce que j'ai parlé ma langue à l'école.
C'est ça,
Yeah.
partout.
Yeah.
Donc, ça crée donc une aliénation dans notre intelligence.
Yeah.
Et finalement, on embrasse ça et on pense que c'est ça l'intelligence. On pense que
Mhm.
c'est ça la civilisation. On grandit, tu vas à l'école, tu as les papiers qu'on a appelés les diplômes et tout ça là. Et puis, tu es fier d'être intellectuel. Mais
Mhm.
on a déjà fait un grand travail
Mhm.
dans ta tête où tu ne sais plus comment tes ancêtres vivaient pour
Mhm.
transformer les ressources que Dieu leur a données. Donc, c'est ça notre situation
Mhm.
aujourd'hui en Afrique, dans les États-Unis et dans les Caraïbes, quand ça vient sur la question de l'intellect,
Mhm.
la créativité, la pensée créative et tout ça là. Donc, la population d'un peuple, non, la force d'un peuple est
Mhm.
dans sa population.
De sa population.
Ça, c'est même
Mhm.
l'enseignement de la Bible.
Mhm.
Donc, l'Afrique a été privée de sa force,
Mhm.
sa ressource la plus vitale, la plus précieuse, la plus glorieuse, lorsque des millions ont été trafiqués
Mhm.
euh, de force pour aller dans les Amériques. Et et ça a causé, c'est une grande perte.
Mhm.
C'est maintenant que l'Afrique commence comment dire le terme, se repeupler sa
Mhm.
population. Mais les estimations varient, hein.
Mhm.
Les modestes estimations que le pasteur Komi a données là, 12 millions 500, ça, ce sont les estimations que les Européens eux-mêmes ont données.
Mhm.
Les Africains donnent des estimations beaucoup plus élevées. On parle de 50 millions de
Mhm.
personnes qui ont été déportées, dont les estimations varient. Même si c'est 12 millions ou 50 millions, c'est une très, très grande perte. C'est vrai que
Mhm.
la différence est énorme. Donc, quand on, les hommes créés à l'image de Dieu, parce que l'Africain a été créé à l'image de Dieu et à sa ressemblance, malgré ce qu'on a pensé et ce qu'on dit de l'Africain aujourd'hui, l'Africain est créé à l'image et à la ressemblance de Dieu. Donc, lorsque un être humain créé à l'image de Dieu est traité de cette façon-là, ça
Yeah.
porte la malédiction sur le territoire.
Malédiction.
ça porte la malédiction, le jugement de Dieu sur
yeah.
le territoire. Et c'est
Mhm,
pas seulement sur le continent, mais aussi dans les Amériques, il y a la malédiction et
mhm,
le jugement de Dieu sur ces territoires parce que ces hommes et femmes ont été humiliés, réduits moins que les animaux. Les
mhm,
Africains dans les Amériques, aux États-Unis particulièrement, n'étaient pas considérés comme des êtres humains.
mhm,
Ouais, ils étaient vendus et achetés par les planteurs. Donc, c'est une très, très grande humiliation qui apporte la malédiction de Dieu et son jugement sur les trucs. Donc, nous avons un grand travail à faire. Et pour terminer, ce que nous, les Africains, nous nés grandis en Afrique, comprenant la valeur culturelle et sociale, nous
mhm,
pouvons être une bénédiction pour nos frères et sœurs qui ont été transportés de force dans les Amériques parce
mhm,
qu'ils ont perdu la connexion avec la terre.
mhm,
Par conséquent, la connexion avec... là, il y a eu rupture selon
mhm,
l'ordre que Dieu a établi avec la lignée, avec leurs ancêtres.
mhm.
Ce que nous qui sommes nés et grandis en Afrique, nous n'avons pas. Mais
Yeah.
il y a eu rupture. Donc, ce que nous pouvons faire dans ce travail, embrasser nos frères et sœurs,
Mhm,
c'est faciliter cette connexion-là, cette guérison de leur perte identitaire.
mhm.
Donc, ça, c'est le résumé de ce que nous avons. C'est un sujet très, très large, très profond. Nous
Yeah.
pouvons passer toutes les journées à discuter et à débattre de ça. Bon, Komi, le pasteur et moi, on est impliqués dans ce travail depuis des décennies.
Yeah.
Donc, on a acquis une petite expérience qui nous permet de discuter de ces choses pour faciliter la guérison, non seulement des Noirs, hein, mais même de
Mhm.
nos frères et sœurs
Yeah.
blancs.
Yeah.
Parce que ceux des Blancs, nos frères et blancs de la génération de jeté, ils sont aussi victimes,
Mhm.
comme nous, victimes
Yeah.
de cette propagande,
Mhm.
victimes de cette tromperie et mensonges,
Yeah.
que les Africains. Donc, c'est ça. Ceux qui ont été bénéficiaires de cette histoire, c'est la classe élite.
Yeah.
Mhm. Donc, merci que le Seigneur vous bénisse.
Mm. Vraiment, le temps nous manque tellement de continuer une observation que j'ai faite et que, bien sûr, qu'on dit que les Africains ont contribué à cette traite négrière, mais je vois que aucun royaume africain ne peut pointer de la richesse qu'ils ont acquis de cette traite, qu'il peut montrer aujourd'hui que ça a fait des riches.
Mhm,
Même on ne sait même pas où se trouve ces royaumes. Mais
mhm,
nous voyons, par exemple, en Occident, il y a des familles qui ont tellement amassé des richesses.
mhm,
Mais,
mhm.
en toute chose, nous remercions le Seigneur car il a son plan.
Il a
Donc,
le dernier mot. Il a le
il a le
dernier
dernier
mot.
mot et je pense que ce que nous allons faire la prochaine fois, nous allons parler de quelque chose que Bishop Zinchem avait parlé de quelque chose sur comment on parle de la réconciliation avec la terre. Donc,
Mhm,
je pense que la prochaine fois, nous allons parler un peu comment est-ce que nous allons nous réconcilier sur
avec nos terres,
yes,
notre
yes,
environnement.
yes. So,
Mhm,
je veux vraiment que on va bientôt parler de ça. Euh, Comment est-ce que nous allons amener la restauration du Seigneur sur notre territoire.
mhm.
Donc, bientôt, nous allons aborder cela. Avec le temps qui nous manque, l'année prochaine, pas l'année prochaine,
Le mois prochain.
le mois prochain, nous allons encore aborder. Et si vous êtes le bishop Zenchem, il est le responsable ou le fondateur de Jeunesse sans mission dans une ville en Virginie, l'État, aux États-Unis, ici, à la côte là-bas. très, très stratégique et il forme des disciples. Si vous êtes intéressé à avoir des séminaires, bon, il y a peut-être des pasteurs en Afrique qui auraient à avoir plus d'exposés. Vous voulez des séminaires, il faut tout juste nous écrire et on va prier pour voir comment que ça va être la réalité. If we have any African American listening to us, also would like to have more discussion with us to talk more about Africa, the connection to the African American, and how can we work together to see God restoration take place. You can write us and we can work together to see that happen because we are all agents of restoration to see God bring his glory, transform life, and change communities. We are not here to blame anybody. We are here to talk together to see how we can how we can serve, to see God do his work on our life, in our community. Any last word before we go, Bishop?
No, this has been a great discussion, and
Mm.
I'm looking forward to the next discussion. And I'm looking forward. If anybody have a question that they will text it to you, and
Yes.
then we can discuss. We'll be happy to talk and
Mm.
answer their question and concern.
Thank you very much. May God bless you. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the afternoon and enjoy the Black History Month. And those who are in the north, enjoy the ice. May God bless you all.
Yes. Okay. God bless you. All
Yeah.
right.
Mm.